One day, such a moment came into the life of a young man named Arnav, like a devastating storm. He was a crew member on a huge cargo ship. Suddenly, a violent storm began in the middle of the sea, and the ship collapsed like a house of cards. As the raging waves swallowed everyone on board, Arnav miraculously survived by clinging to a wooden plank. When he regained consciousness, he found himself on a deserted island. All around him were stretches of sand and rows of coconut trees. The sand burned under the scorching sun, and in the distance he could hear the roar of the sea. Though Arnav was frightened at first, deep inside he believed that God would surely save him. Raising his hands toward the sky, he prayed, "Oh God, rescue me from here. My family is waiting for me." For the first few days, he only stared at the horizon, hoping to see a passing ship. But days passed, nights came and went, and not a single boat appeared on the vast sea. Arnav's patience began to fade. He realized that simply praying and waiting would not be enough. He had to fight to survive. He gathered dry branches from the forest and built a small hut for shelter. He quenched his thirst with coconuts and survived by catching fish from the sea, eating them raw or half-roasted. Nearly 20 days passed like this. Loneliness and despair began to consume Arnav. He thought that perhaps this island would become his final resting place. He had almost given up hope of rescue. One afternoon, under the blazing sun, he went deep into the forest in search of food and coconuts. But when he returned, what he saw made the ground slip from beneath his feet. The small hut he had built with so much care was blazing in flames. Most likely, the intense heat of the afternoon sun had ignited the dry leaves. Watching his only shelter burn to ashes before his eyes, Arnav broke down. Looking up at the sky, he cried out, "Why did you do this to me? First you left me alone in the middle of the ocean, and now you have taken away my last place of shelter. Do you really not want me to survive?" Filled with anger, sorrow, and resentment, he spent the whole night lying on the sand and crying. He cursed God countless times and thought that the next day might be the last day of his life. But at dawn, the following morning, when the first rays of the sun touched his eyes, he heard a strange sound, a loud siren from a large ship. Jumping up, Arnav saw that a big ship had anchored near the shore, and a small boat carrying several people was heading toward him. Overwhelmed with joy, he climbed aboard the ship. After being rescued, he asked the captain in amazement, "How did you know I was stranded here? I couldn't send any signal?" The captain smiled gently and replied, "We saw flames and smoke rising from the island from a distance. We thought someone might be sending a distress signal, SOS. We followed the smoke and came here." Arnav stood there in silence. The fire he had cursed as the cause of his destruction had actually become the reason for his rescue. He realized that if his hut had not burned, the smoke would not have been created, and without the smoke, the ship would never have come. Moral lesson: in our lives, there are many times when our carefully built plans or comforts suddenly collapse. We become discouraged and blame fate or even God. But we fail to understand that what appears to us as a loss may actually be guiding us toward a greater good. The Creator's plans are always beyond our imagination. When He closes one door, He surely opens another, often bigger one. Therefore, even in the hardest moments of life, we must not lose patience. We should remember that after darkness comes light, and behind every difficulty lies an opportunity.